I'm on dada, baby, no go put me for the corner. Girl, I want to take it to my mama. Girl, I want to love it forever. Something about love, something about us. Many things we don't solve, many things we don't love us. You think they be like highway? Tourism and everything else. It's a beautiful island. Great. I don't know, in its own way, if tourism and everything else, it's a beautiful island. Great weather. They're not in a hurricane zone, which is nice for a change. They won't be asking us for money for hurricanes every week. But I think Cuba's the end. All my life I've been hearing about the United States and Cuba. When will the United States do it? I do believe I'll be having the honor of taking Cuba. That'd be good. That's a big honor.
Taking Cuba.
Taking Cuba in some form, yeah. Taking Cuba. I mean, whether I free it, take it, I think I could do anything I want with it. You want to know the truth? They're a very weakened nation right now. They were for a long time. Very violent leaders.
Jesus Christ. Welcome everyone to another episode here on Jabari Media. We're going to try to keep doing more episodes to keep updated on what's going on in the situation in Cuba and also Iran. I have two comrades, I believe, that are now on the flotilla to head to Cuba, so I definitely want to pray for their safety and everyone's safety that's on that flotilla as well too, to help Cuba. They're getting solar panels and everything, and we are here with author and writer Professor Dan Kovalik. Good to see you again, my brother.
Always great to see you. Really, it's my pleasure.
So we heard this disgusting comments from the president, which is insane. How much he shows just how much of an empire we are, just unashamed with this authoritarian rhetoric, saying he could do whatever he want with Cuba. And it's just shows exactly just how sadistic and on the axis of evil the United States is a part of.
Yeah, no, I mean, we have to really realize that our country is the enemy. We're the bad guys. I mean, we kind of have to acknowledge that. And this idea that he can do with Cuba with whatever he wants with this country of 10 million people that has a very strong culture, well, many different cultures, but certainly a strong culture of socialism,
Right.
a very strong Afro descendant population with their own very strong culture. The idea he's going to just manhandle this place is disgusting. I mean, it's sickening. And also, it's fantastic. He can't do that. Just like he thought he was going to manhandle Iran, and instead he's being manhandled. He is losing that war. Now, the Iranians are suffering greatly. There's no question, but they're winning this war. Cuba, yes, they've been weakened by the very cruel sanctions and blockade, where ships are even, being stopped from bringing fuel to them. I mean, but somehow the press and people like Trump blame Cuba for its own, for for what the U.S. is doing to Cuba. It's not that it's failing; it's being destroyed from outside. That is what is happening, and it's very cruel. And we live in an age where imperialism is a purely destructive force, right? There was a time when colonialism at least had a certain aspect of creativity to it.
Right.
Is if you like Monty Python, as they in the life of Brian, they say, well, what did the Romans ever do for us? And they said, well, what about aqueducts? At least they built some stuff,
Right.
right? We don't build anymore. It's just pure
No.
destruction. We're destroying Iran right now. We're destroying Lebanon. We're destroying Cuba. We're destroying the Congo. We're destroying Somalia and Sudan. I mean, and of course Palestine. It is a vicious, vicious era that we live in, and the U.S. must be stopped. It must be stopped, and it. Frankly, the best way to stop it is from within. We have to stop it. We have to stop our own government and own military from really destroying the world. We now are facing the possibility of the world being destroyed by nuclear conflagration. A lot of people are wondering whether Israel will use a nuclear weapon in this war against Iran, and I think there's a very good chance they will. I saw an estimate. I always thought they had maybe 100 nuclear warheads, maybe 200. According to Chris Hedges, they may have 300. I mean, they could destroy all of the Middle East if they wanted, and clearly that's the goal. They are flattening Beirut as we speak. This beautiful city I've been to many times, one of my favorite cities on earth, and they're destroying it. They're flattening it right now. They're flattening Tehran. They're flattening Cuba right now, not through missiles, but through very crippling blockade that is impoverishing and starving people and
Right.
leaving them in the dark without electricity. Anyway, maybe I've gone on too long, but the goal is destruction and chaos. People must realize that. That is the goal. And given that that's the goal, it has to be resisted.
Right. Yeah. And what's happening in Cuba is something that is that's a very hot button that's getting a lot of traction. And I'm very happy that people are paying attention, because now we can have this discussion about how it's been over 65 years of the US actively strangling this economy, you know what I mean? Just absolutely keeping them out of up to date markets, their infrastructure crumbling. They don't have the updated resources to keep their power going. It's showing exactly what you were saying. Like this country has become a black hole to the world, where they just consume and take. And for instance, the UAE was part of the victim, so to say, with Iran, with the Iranian retaliation, so that Sudanese people are now retaking their land.
I
So there
saw
are
that
still,
Iran is
yeah,
liberating the Sudan. I mean, people need to realize that. War has unintended consequences, and sometimes I suppose there's some good ones, and the Sudan is one of them, as you said. Um, which is good. I mean, I hope the Sudanese are liberated, for sure. But I was just thinking, as you were talking about Cuba, I was thinking about its neighbor Haiti. I mean, Haiti.
right. Another
Again, they
victim,
want to make Cuba into Haiti. And
right,
Haiti is now a stateless country, totally impoverished. Again, without any real state functioning. It's a human disaster, and again, they would like to see Cuba in that spot.
right.
They would like to see Iran in that spot, 10 million people.
And
So
also, um, when we look in the situation of Iran, there's a clip real quick I want to show you,
yeah,
and here we go.
Less than 1% of our oil from the Strait, and some countries get much more. Japan gets 95%. China gets 90%. Many of the Europeans get quite a bit. South Korea gets 35%. So we want them to come and help us with the Strait. We have it in very good shape. The countries, I said, we've already taken care of Iran, but now, because of the fact that literally a single terrorist can put something in the water or shoot something or shoot a missile, a small missile, and it's fairly close range because it is a tight area, and which is one of the reasons they've always used that as a weapon. Iran has always used that as an economic weapon, and
so he's trying to sell this confusion. Basically, from my understanding, like this entire administration really doesn't know why we're in Iran. You have Joe Kent,
Right.
who was a high senior official, leaving. Is in that he specified that this is a dumb idea. Basically, I mean, he did blame Iran for the reason why we went to Iraq and all this stuff. Kind of weird way of reasoning, but I'm glad you resigned. One less asshole that's a part of this new genocide towards Iranians and the Lebanese people. He is just, I don't understand, like, because he's going back and forth, Dan. He's basically saying we destroyed their navy, now we need help for the Strait of Hormuz.
He's acting as if,
right.
he's acting as if he's surprised by this. Iran for years has said what they're going to do. They haven't made it a secret. They said if you attack us, we will shut down the Strait of Hormuz. And that's what they're doing. Like, and he's acting as if this is a great crime or something. He put this in motion. He put everything that we've seen in motion. And he had no idea what was coming. He had no idea Iran would attack U.S. military bases around the region, or that they
even though they warned about that, right? They also warned about that too.
They did. Iran has telegraphed exactly what they're going to do. They're like Babe Ruth pointing to where they're going to hit the home run, right? And they did it. And so the empire is crumbling, but it is lashing out viciously as it falls.
Mm-hmm.
And the goal of humanity is to try to bring down the empire in the most painless way possible. But you're seeing the pain that it's inflicting. It's just flailing. It's just flailing like a wounded animal, but a giant animal that can hurt a lot of people.
Yeah.
And Trump is the logical extreme, of the leadership of this country, right? I mean, every president we've had has been a war criminal. Has been mad in their own way, but this is the extreme of it.
Yeah.
And to watch him just lie and contradict himself every day. Yeah, we're winning, but we need help to win. And, we're afraid of, Iran developing nuclear weapons, even though the U.S. said, after the 12 Days War, they destroyed any possibility of that,
Right. So much contradictories.
Yeah. And again, and there's not enough critique of that. There's not enough people calling out the obvious.
Right.
That we're being lied to, and that we have leaders who have no idea what they're doing and yet wield incredible power and destruction.
Yes.
It's a very
the
frightening
prince is
time.
Not popular neither. Like if they was to take the prince of the son of the Shah and bring him to Iran, I don't think he would survive in Iran.
He'd be hanged. He'd be hanged in the town square, upside down like Mussolini.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, they don't understand. Like they're basically going off of the dumb, not dumb, but the lack of information that the new generation of Iranians around the world don't know how brutal the Shah was. Like they're dancing around that subject as if
well, because they don't know about it. Yeah, I wrote a book called "The Plot to Attack Iran,"
yes.
of course.
Yes.
And as I mentioned in there, and in my research for the book, I found an Amnesty International report from 1978, the year before the Shah fell. And Amnesty International concluded that Iran under the Shah at that time had the worst human rights record on the planet.
Literally.
Okay. And, people don't know about the Shah. They don't know about the SAVAK, which was the state security system that the CIA set up and trained the SAVAK in Nazi torture techniques. Okay, this is true. And the Shah ruled through the SAVAK. And it was a dreaded police force. And the Ayatollah Khomeini, who was just killed, he was captured by the SAVAK. He was tortured by the SAVAK.
Yes.
And when I was in Iran, in 2017, I went to the SAVAK headquarters. It's now a museum. And there's a cell with a like a wax figure of the Ayatollah because he had lived there, and been tortured there. And again, people have no idea of any of this. And
Right.
that's the problem. When you don't know anything about the history and who you're fighting, it can't end well. And I wrote in that same book, and I'm not saying this to promote the book at all, but the one other thing I took note of is how incredible Iran is a nation and a country. It has ancient mosques, ancient churches, ancient Zoroastrian ruins. And the architecture is just stunning.
Yeah.
And
Very
I said
beautiful
to
from what I
myself, the
saw.
reason they still have all these things is because the U.S. hasn't yet gotten its hooks in it, but it has now. And a
Right.
lot of those things that I saw are being destroyed. The ancient city of Isfahan is being attacked. Ancient antiquities are being destroyed, never to be seen again. And that's just been happening throughout West Asia. Again, in Lebanon, in Palestine, in Syria. Ancient historical artifacts are gone. Biblical artifacts are gone. It is such a shame and such a loss for all of humanity, and it's just heartbreaking, really.
Yeah. Yeah. And
History itself is being destroyed. History itself
yes.
is being erased, and that's part of the goal here.
Yeah.
People will never, at some point, remember that these things ever existed to begin with, or that these people existed. And it's just, and the one thing I point out, why Cuba, I think, you can compare what's happening to Cuba to what's happening in West Asia. So Cuba, one of the big reasons, if not the biggest reason, Cuba is being attacked is because it is socialist, right? And capitalism cannot abide by socialist examples. In the same way, in West Asia, you have more traditional socialist societies, right? These are not, they may not call themselves socialist,
Right.
but you have, forms of being that are socialistic, through the mosques and the churches where people share things and where property is shared in common, and it's not and land is shared in common. And again, that is anathema to capitalism. Capitalism will destroy that, and they are doing it now. There's a very interesting book that I'm reading now about the enclosure laws in Great Britain during the early years of capitalism. And this went on for actually centuries. And again, it destroyed land that was held in common, right? It forced
Right.
the division of the land to be privatized. and
Right.
it destroyed the people who held that land in common, right? And you're seeing exactly that happening now in Palestine, right? In the West Bank is happening right now, and and again throughout West Asia. So capitalism is gobbling up all of these places, and something very great is being lost, something very beautiful, you know. And
Yeah.
yeah, I can't
Yeah.
emphasize that enough, you know.
I mean, it's really heartbreaking to see history being erased and a people that have been around. Iran, basically Persia, has been around for more than 3,000 years, and they
Yes,
have survived all the empires, even after Xerxes, when they were an empire themselves. They have outlived all these empires, and it's so sad looking at these videos. I had a video to show of the oil refinery. They are actively trying to kill this population, and then have the nerve to say, "Oh, go out in the streets and take
right.
back your country while
Yes,
we're
we're
bombing
liberating
you."
you. Yes. The only thing they're
Contradictions
doing
all
is
over.
liberating them from their mortal coil. That's what they're
Right,
doing. They're
right,
murdering the population, destroying everything they value,
and it's just so
destroying their
sickening.
environment. Who's going to rally around that? And in fact, you see people who oppose the government are now saying, "Well, we can't abide by
Right,
this.
right. There's
You
people
can't
in the
liberate
West
people
waking
that."
up.
Yeah.
You know,
And even in the US there's, a sector of the left that opposes Iran, and um even to this moment, like, they on the one hand say, "Oh yeah, but you have to oppose the US invasion of Iran, but also you have to oppose the Islamic Republic." Well, you cannot hold those two ideas in your head at the same time. They do
yeah,
not.
no, yeah, you can't. No,
They the Islamic Republic is the only thing standing between the people of that region and barbarism,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is, the U.S. and Israel trying to impose barbarism on all those people, and the
Similar
Islamic
to
Republic is
Gaddafi.
the only thing standing, protecting the people from that.
Right, right.
And again, I realized that a long time ago. It took me a long time to realize that, but it's just a fact.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think Iran's fighting for all of us. I really do believe that. And I
Right.
think
They're the
Cuba's
last.
fighting for all of us. Yeah.
Yep. The last axis of resistance in that case.
Yes. Yeah. And again, that doesn't mean you have to embrace all their policies or,
Exactly.
right. You don't have to be a theocrat, but you have to
Right.
recognize the material reality of what's happening. And if Iran falls, Palestine will fall, Lebanon will fall. I mean, Sudan will fall. I mean, this is just true. You know,
Yeah.
so you have to deal with that.
In Lebanon, we are seeing now that you know no journalist is safe. Even Western journalists are like literally being. I think they're deliberately targeting areas where their journalists are, because it's not a coincidence when you see multiple journalists are nearly escaping missiles being hit.
Yeah,
And
well,
they already claimed the lives of a few journalists.
no, hundreds. Obviously, since October
Yeah,
7th,
yeah, in
2023,
Gaza.
Israel's
Yep,
murdered hundreds of journalists, more than in any conflict ever,
any conflict, which is
even
crazy.
World War II. As many
Yeah,
millions of people who died, there
right,
weren't that many journalists killed as are being killed now by
right.
Israel. Yeah, and there is that video of my friend Steve Sweeney. I stay with him when I go to Beirut. A
Mm,
very good friend of mine. And then there's a video all over the internet of him on TV speaking, and a missile is launched towards him. And his colleague Ali, who I also know very well. Both of them
Sam.
ended up in the hospital. Thank God it was not a direct hit. Thank
Yeah.
God they were wearing their bulletproof vests, and so they will survive. Though I did text Steve and say, "Hey, please wear your helmet too." They weren't wearing their helmets, but
Hmm.
the whole world can see this. And no one's safe. No one's safe. Uh, the president of Colombia, Gustavo Petro, who I represent, is a lawyer. He said that Gaza was I forget how he put it, training ground or laboratory for the destruction that we're seeing right now, right?
Oh,
Because that was
definitely.
allowed to happen
Right. Right.
with really no serious opposition to it
Yep.
by the world. What's happening in Iran now has been allowed to happen as well, right? It is. I think it's very clear. Israel was surprised by how tolerant the world was for what they were doing in Gaza. They thought, oh, we can get away with this for a period of weeks or whatever, which is what they usually do when they bomb Gaza.
Right. Right.
And no one said a peep. So they kept going and going and going. And it's very clear that they feel no moral or legal constraints to what they're doing at this point.
Yeah.
The world abandoned Palestine, and now they're abandoning Iran. The Security Council was unable to pass a resolution condemning the U.S.-Israeli unprovoked attack on Iran, but they were able to pass a resolution condemning Iran for defending itself.
Isn't that just so crazy? How dare
Eh,
you shoot back when you started,
yeah,
when they started this? Like, oh, I shouldn't shoot back?
yeah, it's incredible. No, it's incredible. And I really I blame Russia and China for abstaining in that resolution that condemns Iran. They abstained from that terrible resolution that basically handed over Gaza to the U.S. and Israel, right? So who is there left to stand against all this? Only us.
Mm-hmm.
Only the people, and we have to do that. We're the only ones left.
One of my newly good friends, Professor Naveed, who works for Tehran University, was on the Breakthrough News on the episode, and he said something that was very interesting. This was like one of his first interviews with them. He said that he never ever like he understands that people on the left want to just yell, "Hey Russia, hey China, help them out," but like in Iran, they don't expect Russia to do much at all. They said that they can handle this themselves, which you automatically see as well when they ask the questions like, "Oh yeah, we have a relationship with them," but Russia has said they have never called. But my issue is when you think about it, I'm happy in a way that they're not involved because of what happened in Syria. That you can't really depend on Russia. You
Yeah, no,
can't
they
really.
abandoned Syria. I think that's
Right.
fair to say. No, they're not the Soviet Union, and the left
Hmm.
has to, we have to remind ourselves of that a lot, because the two can be conflated, but they're not. A lot of what we're seeing happening could not have happened if the Soviet Union still existed.
Right.
They would have defended Gaza. They would have, the U.S.
Yeah,
wouldn't
they
have
were
even
active.
thought about
Right.
attacking Iran, which which bordered the Soviet Union.
Right. Yeah, they were very active.
Um,
Yep.
so, but Russia's not the Soviet Union, and China honestly never had a very good foreign policy. It's
Mm.
a little better now than it used to be under
Right.
Mao. I mean, Mao was terrible. He supported Pinochet in
Yeah.
Chile
Yeah.
and UNITA in Angola. The Cubans were fighting UNITA, and the Chinese were supporting UNITA. You know, um, but anyways, at least in word, China's foreign policy is better now. But indeed, it's
Yeah.
what are they doing to stop any of this? Not very much. So
Yeah. Dan Kovalik, I want to thank you so much, brother, for coming on, and your contribution to this show is so appreciated. Please enjoy
my
the rest of
pleasure.
your day, man.
You
Thank you
too.
so
I
much.
always enjoy talking to you. You're a good person, a good comrade. Take care of yourself.
Thank you, Dan. I'll see you soon,
Okay.
brother.
Take care. Bye bye.
And for everyone that's listening, we still have the crowd. I have one last video that I need to share with you before I head out myself. Let's get this up. We got Jeffrey Sachs here. I thought this was a very good.
Right now. Right.
Here we go. StreamYard's acting up today, but we'll get it. So he's basically having a conversation about, basically similar of what me and Dan Kovalik just spoke about, how our government, the United States, is unhinged. They are a seeping black hole. So he goes into it very much in good detail, I feel. So let's check him out.
The United States is drunk with arrogance right now. It has invaded Venezuela. It thinks it's about to invade Cuba. It has now attacked Iran. It thinks that it runs the world. It's very dangerous, very delusional, and leading to more and more violence around the world. Well, first of all, the first rule of the United Nations is that no member state may threaten force or use force against another state except in self-defense. So it's not legal, and for good reason, for one country to say, we don't like the government of another country, therefore we overthrow it. Yet that is the American modus operandi. That is American foreign policy, that it is a bully and it overthrows other countries' governments. The historical record of this, especially in this region, the Middle East, is a disaster. The United States overthrew the Libyan government, and it has been 15 years of war since then. The United States and Israel overthrew the Sudanese government. Now there are two civil wars, one in Sudan and one in the breakaway country of South Sudan. The United States and Israel overthrew the government of Iraq in 2003. That country has been destabilized ever since. The United States and Israel conspired to overthrow the government of Syria in 2011. That country has been destabilized for the next 15 years. In other words, the track record of this is a river of bloodshed. And in the Middle East, it extends from Libya to Iran. And this is a contrived policy of the United States, which wants dominance in every region of the world, and Israel, which is the American-picked regional hegemon, the one country with nuclear weapons, the one country that the United States will support to rule over the rest. It's very bloody. It is a massive failure. The idea that this is what the Iranian people want, well, the United States should not have installed a police state. It should not have overthrown a democracy. It should not have armed Iraq in 1980 to 85 to kill hundreds of thousands of Iranians. The United States cares nothing about the Iranian people, but the United States cares about the oil, and it cares about the military control over the Middle East, and it cares about the fact that Iran sells oil to China. Because part of what's happening is the United States is trying to put a chokehold on oil that flows to China, whether from Venezuela or from the Middle East or from Russia, which the U.S. has sanctioned. And so this is part of a game. The American leaders do not care about the people, not about the American people or about other people. They care about power, and that's what they're after.
Yeah. And look, this is clear as day. Jeffrey Sachs said something that I try to explain multiple times, but he's a very smart. I mean, he's a tenured professor. You know what I mean? I'm a college dropout. I mean, I do have a certificate in modern journalism, so that's recent. But here's the issue, man. Like we are literally living. This is confirming that we are living in a very hostile time. And although a lot of people don't think that motherfuckers might use nukes again, it's gonna be the same motherfuckers that have used nukes before in their friends. If they do use nukes, it's not gonna be who they claim is the enemy. It's going to be the Israel. Or shit, maybe we might give them some tactical nukes. I mean, there are tactical nukes out there. I'm not a weapon specialist, but I listen to them and they talk about it. And we are in a very dangerous time. You got this guy, Donald Trump, in office talking to the senior leadership of Japan. They were in the White House today. And they made a comment, which was a very valid comment. I think it was one of the Japanese officials that said this. And look, I got no love for the Japanese ruling party right now. They are very problematic, but that's another episode. But they said, look, you didn't let us know. Like, you expect people to help. Something you started. The Strait of Hormuz was fine before y'all attacked Iran, right? They were fine. Everybody was getting their money. Everybody was fine, right? Now, you're like, oh, the Strait of Hormuz is in trouble. For you. For you. Iran gave a memo saying as long as y'all get rid of your American and Israeli ambassadors, you can still use the Strait of Hormuz to get your oil. So it's a problem for you. So now, since you started this and you were in trouble because you know damn well Americans don't like the sound of inflated. I mean, we're already paying for high prices for food, high prices for rent, everything. And gas and oil is a part of all of the fabric of America. We still use oil or gas for our electricity. We still need it to have clothes. They make clothes. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that this resource is a part of. And that means all those prices are going to go up. Because of course y'all let corporations price gouge. I mean, the last time we had a cap on prices legally was during the Nixon era. One of the few good things that motherfucker did. So here we are. We have a weak establishment that's afraid to tell capitalists, hey, you can't put your prices up. And now you want to add an oil crisis on top of the price gouging and the inflation? Brother, man, you just you miscalculated. Just like Dan Kovalik said, he was warned that they were going to put a blockade on the Strait of Hormuz. He was warned that they were going to attack all the neighboring Gulf states. Because why? There are American bases there. He was warned. He knew. There's no way in hell. Like, I don't believe him that he's acting new to any of this shit. It's really mind-boggling to me that you want to pretend. Like, he has to pretend at this point. He can't say, yeah, I knew. Because then they're going to be like, then why the did you do it? If you knew, watch do it. He can't say that. But I'm telling you, he knew. He knew. But look, he got paid very handsomely by these Zionists. So he has to do the surface. He got to do the dance. America chose Israel to be the powerful hegemon in the Middle East. This was chosen. They didn't choose Saudi Arabia. They didn't choose Qatar. They didn't choose the UAE. So all those Gulf states complaining, it's just a complaint. The wife is Israel. The wife is Israel. And the wife is getting spanked right now very much by Iran. So we are what I'm basically telling you, we are in a very dangerous time. And I don't know what the future is going to hold. But what I do know is that we need to get involved in every organization possible, a working class organization that can combat what's going on. We need to be out in the streets. We need to be organizing. We need to show a huge, just like our ancestors in our are people of the past that have fought against war. In Vietnam, it was pressure. They fought. The reason why the draft don't exist no more was because top officials in the military itself, was ready to overthrow the government over the draft. They don't teach this history. We can apply pressure. We can apply pressure, and we need to keep applying pressure. All right? Because at the end of the day, we all knew Trump. The people that didn't vote for Trump knew he was lying his ass off when he said he wasn't going to continue on wars. We knew he was lying. We knew he was lying. Everybody knew he was lying. Okay, so what? He didn't do it his last term. He just continued on wars. Okay, this is a different Trump now. And he is getting paid. And when you're getting paid, you might get a little reckless. And he's very fucking reckless. Like, it's bad. It's bad, guys. I'm not here to give you, I'm sorry. What, was you looking for a light at the end of the tunnel and all this? No. It's our time to struggle, just like what happened with our family in the past. It's our time to struggle now. It's we in the struggle for real, for real. I like build $300 and something $8, and I only got like less than 600 feet square foot apartment, but I got a light bill that could match a house. Thanks, Iran. Look, I ain't gonna blame Iran. Honestly, he should never did this, and now he's mad. People don't want to help. Okay, good. Deal with it, bro. You started it. You fix it. Pull your shit back. We still got the Marines coming, right? They're saying they're gonna beat it in a few days, right? Pull them back. End this. Claim you had a false victory or whatever that mean. Pull them back because it's not looking well. And the Israelis are crazy. They putting their people in prison if they catch them filming. You know what I mean? They getting their ass whipped. I saw the videos. I keep seeing the videos. I know some motherfuckers there. Thank God I can look at their feeds. You know what's really cool about it? Last part is that Chinese workers, because they're not allowed to go into the city, so they work outside of the city. You know, China still has contracts with Israel, which is part of the criticism that Dan Kovalik was given. So the thing is that they are actually filming this. A lot of them are able to film it because they're from afar. You know, they're looking out. They're like, oh crap, what the hell's going on over there? So they're filming it. So we're getting videos from them as well too. This was also confirmed by Dini Haifang. So there, it's as much as they try to hide it, it's there, man. And I don't know how long Israel's going to keep going with this until they give out and are ready to use nukes, or maybe we'll be happy because they'll destabilize. They will be fine because they'll destabilize what will happen with the South African apartheid, and then they can give up their nukes that they stole from United States. They can give up their nukes, and they can be destroyed by the council, which I don't think is going to happen, by some form of council. I can't think of the name of the council right now, guys, but I will soon. But, you know, 9 times out of 10, you know, they have this doctrine, I believe it's called the Samson Doctrine, where they will probably use nukes if they feel that their state is going to fall. And I hope that does not happen. I really don't. Thank you so much for everyone for tuning in. Please, if you like the show, please like, share, subscribe. Please tell people about me. We will continue to keep a close eye on what's going on. I have Alex Suarez coming on again, my partner in crime, comrade Alex Suarez. He will be coming on again tomorrow for another update. We're going to keep this going as much as we can because the need is important. You know what I mean? We need to keep talking about this and keep talking about the damn Epstein files as well too, because 95% of searches went down once this war started. So we need to keep reminding people about that damn Epstein file. This dude is getting away with it. The perfect ruse. Start a damn war. The perfect ruse. But this is a war that they probably would not win because Iran is a world power, and they're not a small country like Afghanistan and Iraq. We made a great killing off of attacking countries that were small. Now we're actually going up against an actual world power. This is different. And yes, the Taliban is still in power in Afghanistan. So we wasted 20 years. So if we couldn't take out the Taliban, why do we think we can take out the Islamic Republic? I don't know who's up in that White House and who's up in that Pentagon, but God, y'all need to get your head checked. You need to get your head checked for real. Hashtag head check, because what are you doing? What are you doing? So as the prices go up, we're going to keep pushing, guys. Keep on pushing. Thank you so much. Please like, share, subscribe. If you want to donate, please donate to my Cash App, Jabari Media, no space. Jabari Media, no space. Last announcement. Also, please, guys, donate to Kyle Crisis Relief. They are a medical student-led volunteer group in Gaza. I believe they started in Haifa. I interviewed one of their volunteers about 2 years ago. They are helping Gazans in need. So please go on your IG and follow Pal Crisis Relief. And not only go on your IG and follow Pal Crisis Relief, but if you know someone that got money, or if you got money, donate, because it actually helps and it goes right to supporting people in Gaza. Right? I believe that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and please take care of yourselves.
Blank period, yeah. On my black, brown, and indigenous. Gotta holler if you really feeling this. Gotta holler if you really real enough. Other rappers is delirious. Yeah, it's really that serious. Better holler if you really feeling me. I gotta keep it 100, ayy. If you don't like it, then fuck it, ayy. We gonna win in the end, yeah. We gonna live in abundance. I gotta keep it 100, ayy. If you don't like it, then fuck it, ayy. We gonna win in the end, yeah. We gonna. I gotta keep it 100. We gotta stop all the stunting. You know we coming from nothing. Yo, you talking about money, you bluffing. We gotta do something different. We gotta change how we live in. We gotta do better for women. We gotta do better for children. We gotta listen to victims, whether Jewish or Muslim or Christian. It doesn't matter your religion. You gotta stand against the system, or else you just another villain. How you just sitting there chilling?